Oh, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TMP Nerf Report. Because there's nerfs, so we have to report on them. I'm Chewy. That's Mike with me as always. That's Mike with me as always.
Oh, were you expecting me to say something?
I mean, usually.
Okay, yeah.
It's just like,
Sorry.
did I lose Mike with his crappy internet? Hello?
No, I'm here. I waved. I guess you weren't watching the camera.
Oh, no, I wasn't watching that. So yes, Hearthstone announced a couple days ago. I think a couple days ago. It doesn't matter. When was this? 8/22. So 3 days ago, that there were upcoming card changes for balance purposes, and I went, and I'm moderately happy with the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
So.
one more than I hoped for, but oh well. We'll see what happens later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll forget if we don't say now. What's the other one you were hoping for?
I just think it's silly that 2/7 Priest Legend costs 4.
That is silly.
It's just aggravating. The stats in that cost.
Yeah, and especially since they have such easy ways to get board control before turn 3, even without one of the nerfs or
Right.
one of the cards in the nerfs, they have an easy way to get board control to play Amet, to keep board control forever, unless you're also playing Priest, in which case you just play Shadow Word Pain, and it's easy. But in
Yeah.
every other class, it's a large pain in the ass. So yeah, I feel you. I don't think it's nerf worthy. I think it's just heavily obnoxious.
Yeah, like I said, we'll just see.
Yeah. So let's get into the nerfs that did actually happen. First up, which really shouldn't surprise anyone who's been paying attention, and most people that haven't, we've got Conjurus Calling, going from 3 mana up to 4, Blizzard's favorite flavor of nerf. And this is good, because you can't go like turn 6 Mountain Giant Conjurus Calling unless you still have the coin or something.
Right.
It's just not as consistent.
And you can't do, turn 5 Giant, turn 6 Calling.
Right. Because I think that's the worst one, actually.
Yes.
They didn't touch Mountain Giant, which... Okay. I don't know what they would have done to Mountain Giant.
Yeah, unless they just made it cost significantly more like they did with Molten Giant back in the day, but
Yeah, they could
adding
have...
mana to Mountain Giant isn't the same as adding mana to something like Molten Giant, just with the way they work.
They could have added mana to the Grave Titan.
Huh.
I still think they should have printed some sort of really crappy 12 drop with an amazing battle cry and some sort of cost reduction thing in Saviors of Uldum to soft nerf Conjurus Calling. There's no bad options at 12. So Conjurus Calling Mountain Giant is just amazing. But they didn't do that. So,
I think if they inserted something like that, I don't know if it would be worth playing Conjurus Calling. If it has that much of a potential to just get a blank.
Well, not like a 1/1, but like
I know what you're talking about.
like
but
a 5/5. Something.
I know, but still, yeah.
Like, bring back Corridor Creeper, but not as stupid. Anyway. But yeah, this does primarily keep or slow down the double Conjurus Calling because of Twin Spell. Also, another minor thing that isn't quite so minor, you can't get Conjurus Calling off of Magic Trick anymore.
Oh,
Which,
right.
while since the Cyclone Mage decks are sort of going by the wayside, it's not as big a deal, but it does matter, a non-zero amount. So, because there's nothing worse than like Mountain Giant, Conjurus Calling, and then somehow like they burn the second one, and you're like, I'm safe, and they go Magic Trick, another Conjurus Calling, and you're like, I hate your family. Like, yeah. Again, that's not as important in the current meta as we're recording this, but that is still a thing that does happen occasionally. And might again in the future with this nerf, I don't know. So yeah, it doesn't stop the turn 3 giant, turn 4 Conjurus Calling. But, you know, what you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, that's a rare event anyway, so.
Exactly. I don't know about rare.
Turn 3? That seems difficult. Maybe I'm just not counting right.
Oh wait, did I say 3?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is rare. My bad.
Okay.
Book of Specters isn't really a thing anymore, so.
Okay.
When Book of Specters was a thing, turn 3 giant was like, oh, just do that. But anyway, but that's not the big nerf to Mage, amazingly enough. That's just the normal nerf.
Right.
The big nerf in Mage is Luna's Pocket Galaxy getting unbuffed. So way back, I can't get this centered properly on the screen. It's killing me, Mike.
Me or the cards?
The card. So,
okay.
Way back when was it Rise? I think it was when Rise of Shadows came out.
Yes.
I say way back, but back when after Rise of Shadows came out, they did a Rise of the Mechs event where 2 cards from every class got a buff of some sort. And Luna's Pocket Galaxy went from 7 mana down to 5. And at the time, Luna's Pocket Galaxy was just a stupid card. It didn't matter. When you got it from like a random card effect, it was essentially a dead card. You just went, oh, piss. Yeah. Now, with the cards that have been printed since then, it's a significant part of the meta to the point where you keep Luna's Pocket Galaxy a 5-drop in your opening hand, and your win percentage gets like an extra 20% or something stupid like that. Like, it's awful. Because 1 mana Calic Ghost, 1 mana Alexstrasza, 1 mana the thing that casts...
Antonidas.
Do it. Antonidas. 1 mana that thing that casts a spell from your deck.
Oh, that freaking
the Tortolan puzzle box caster. You know. Turns out all of those for 1 mana are really good. And the Pocket Galaxy only costing 5 means you can play it on turn 5 to lose some tempo now, but your 1-drop huge things get that tempo back as soon as you draw them.
Yeah.
And later in the game, you can go Pocket Galaxy Arcane Intellect, which is one of the most soul-crushing things that can be done. Because you know they drew 2 giant 1-drops, and you're like, oh goody, this game is over. So, at 7, it completely undoes that. Now, we're not in the same meta we were before. I don't know if Luna's Pocket Galaxy will vanish like it did before, like it was before when it was a non-entity. But because we have these decks that run all the big things, but it's certainly not going to be as ubiquitous as it is now.
Yeah, it's a serious impact. Like when we talked about the buff, I remember us saying, you know, spending your entire turn 7 or 8 to not affect the board is a lot to ask. And that's why it just couldn't be played at the time. Changing it to 5 gave you the option to play it on a turn where it was actually safe to do something like that. Or like you were just saying earlier, play it and then follow it up with something. For whatever reason, it just didn't occur to us at the time that silly things happen when, you know, Alexstrasza and Calicos cost 1. But
Yeah.
we've
Well,
been
that's
educated.
because the mage decks at the time didn't really care as much. Like, they didn't need 1 mana of those things because they still had. It was either. Let's see, what was big around then? It was still Conjurus Calling, right?
Yes.
I
I think so.
I'm really bad at remembering past metas just from things. Like, if I saw a deck, I could remember some of the other decks that played against it, but my brain doesn't work that way.
Well, no, is Conjurus Calling from Rise of Shadows or from something else?
Conjurus Calling is from yeah, it's from Rise of Shadows, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, back to the Pocket Galaxy. It's we'll have to see if these decks need now, because they still have the Tortolan. What's it called? Pilgrim? Is that it?
Maybe.
The one that casts a spell that you discover from your deck.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's possible that they'll still cast that and then use it to cast Pocket Galaxy if they miss the puzzle box or the Blizzard or the Flame Strike or whatever it is that they need, you know? But I don't know. Doesn't seem great at 7. It could go back to like a meme card. I'm not convinced that that's what it's gonna do. Now that we've, played with it, I just don't know, because I don't know. It's hard to tell. We said when it was buffed, this card went from laughably unplayable to might actually be a thing. Turns out it was such a thing that I don't know if it could go back to laughably unplayable. But again, it's not going to be everywhere ruining your chances to play against Mage, though. So that's important.
Right.
Dude, the worst happened to me a couple days ago. It was turn 6. It was Luna's Pocket Galaxy, and then they drew a card for free somehow. Like maybe they had a Thalnoth or something. And then went Reno for 1 mana. And I'm going,
Wow.
Wiped my board. I did not win that game, it turns out.
Gosh.
Yeah. Turn 6. Stop that. But anyway, let's move on to the other class that has people angry, shall we?
Yes, let's shall.
So, Control Warrior is currently, I'm going to say, the boogeyman of the format. Because it has such an amazing game against lots of decks. Because it's just loaded with removal. It's just removal. And for some reason, they made that stupid 3/8 that summons a copy of itself. The taunt. It's a mech.
It's a what?
Yeah. Also, they printed Restless Mummy in the current Warrior meta. So Warrior is just loaded with this insane amount of removal. And to top it off was Dr. Boom, who turns all of your mechs into removal. Hey! And, they're moving him from 7 mana all the way up to 9. Which... So this doesn't really kick Control Warrior in the face all that hard. But it does give you 2 more turns of having a shot at rushing down Warrior.
Right.
And it also means they can't go on turn 9, Boom, Hero Power. Which is pretty big because Boom's Hero Powers are pretty good. Like, if you're playing an aggressive deck, the Blast Shield and sometimes that deal 3 damage, whatever it's called, and the deal 1 to all of your board are all really, really bad for you.
Yeah, there's almost no way through those.
And discovering the mech is bad for you next turn, guaranteed, because it's an Omega Devastator. You know it is. Or it's a Dynamatic. Or it's the
Yeah,
2/3/8 with Taunt. It's because, why is that a mech? Like, what? Anyway. So this gives you 2 more turns to try to rush them down. And it keeps Warrior from having, like, a big late game tempo swing by, like, Dr. Boom, Hero Power, like Shield Slam. Now it's just Dr. Boom, Shield Slam, which is whatever. You know, that's fine.
Yeah. And, I can't just sit here and complain because I play it, like you were talking about with the Pocket Galaxy earlier. This is something that, even though it costs 7, I'll keep it in my opening hand sometimes. If my other 2 cards are good enough, I'll keep it in my opening hand most of the time.
Yeah, because when you play Boom, you win.
Yeah, you win, yeah. on turn 7, yeah, you didn't affect the board, but the 7 armor is a nice help to keep you alive.
Yeah, not to mention that your Hero Power is ridiculous for the rest of the game.
Yes. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So lots of people are complaining, well, that doesn't actually stop the problem. The problem is that he gives mechs rush. And I've noticed that in this age of the internet, there's this hive mind where one person says a thing and then everyone picks it up.
Oh, in like comments on Facebook for Hearthstone stuff, I've seen literal copy pastes of like the same 2 sentences for responses to things. It's just stupid.
So the hive mind thing is, I know some of the things are things Kibler said. Kibler's idea was remove the armor and the blast shield, so that
that'd be too much.
So that your Boom, when you cast Boom, there's a trade-off. Now you're not defensive anymore; you're offensive, and it gives aggro decks a chance. And I was like, that's not bad. They won't do that though, and they didn't. Other people, I think Kibler said this too. Instead of saying your mechs have rush, make it a battle cry that says the mechs in your deck and in your hand have rush. So that way, all of the things that they discover and get from Omega Assembly and all that don't have rush.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be. It wouldn't matter that much.
Be kind of a pain in the neck to remember.
Yeah. They'd have to add the word rush to the cards that were in your hand and deck. Or something.
Yeah.
But like, that would be easy to do, but like, it's still Boom himself. Like, the rush thing is a problem, but you can get around it. It's the fact that all your mechs have rush, and you always discover Omega Devastator or Dynamatic all the time.
Always.
And
I do it too.
Oh yeah. And the hero powers and the 7 armor. It's all of this together that's the problem. So there's no way to, like, without just Hall of Faming him, which he's not that bad. People are like, you should have just No. He's not super oppressive like Gen and Baku. He's not horribly killing the meta. He's just too good.
Right.
So we're going to bump him up to 9 mana, see how that shakes things out. If Control Warrior's win percentage drops enough, then there you go. And if not, they might try something else. But even so, he's only going to be in Standard for another, 8 months or so?
When you say it that way, it's not really a short time.
It's not, is he? I saw a lot of people saying 6 months, but...
Why 6?
But rotation has happened in April, so...
Yeah,
it's not 6 months. But again, one person says it, everyone picks it up and starts saying it like it's fact.
Wait, isn't that 6? Just a second. Yeah, it is. That's 6 months.
What? No, April would be 8 months.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you're right. 8.
Math is hard. But, yeah, like, I hate Control Warrior, too, at this point, with a fiery passion. And you remember, I was the guy who was playing Control Warrior constantly. What? Last set?
Mm-hmm.
Set before? I don't remember. Just constantly. I had the one video where we hit the turn limit. Like, this was before the Elysiana nerf. I was all over some Control Warrior. And now I just won't play it. Because they printed... There's just too much stuff. And it's not fun to play anymore for me. It's too good for me personally to want to play. Because of Restless Mummy and the fact that the 3/8 is a mech, and then Plague of War. Why? Because you know what Warrior needed was another AoE removal, Mike. So yeah.
At least back in the even odd days, you had to pick one.
Exactly. So, yeah, this might actually make me give it a shot, because booming on 7 isn't possible, and booming on 9 isn't a ridiculous tempo swing anymore, so, So, yeah, okay, so speaking of tempo swings, anything else about Boom? Like, I think this will help aggro decks.
I think it will.
And I think it'll help tempo decks and, like, control decks to, if they can get ahead and start the snowball, it's going to be harder for the Control Warrior to immediately take it back just by playing one card.
Right. Or it's harder for the Control Warrior to just get the initiative by default by starting their snowball early.
Exactly. All right. I like this. I see why people are upset about it, but I don't agree with being upset about it, if that makes sense. Because it really does feel like, oh, you just added 2 mana? But it's not about, like, kicking Control Warrior in the balls. It's about knocking off some percentage points.
Right.
This is a thing that we talk about in Magic when they because they can't nerf cards, they have to ban them. Instead of banning the thing that makes the deck the problem, you ban something that helped, like the centerpiece to the deck. You ban this card over here that makes it happen. And
yeah.
That way you don't completely kill a deck, you just shave off some percentage points, and that's what they're doing here. Calm down. If it's still horribly bad, they might do something else. It's fine. But okay, so let's go back to undoing some buffs. During the Rise of the Mech event, Extra Arms was buffed down from 3 mana to 2. And we were like, huh. This might single-handedly make Tempo Priest a thing. And it turns out it didn't. It needed Injured Tolvir. I hate that card, by the way.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
It's pretty annoying.
So, it turns out that Priest is now really good. And it's got super powerful early minions, like the Injured Tolvir. And so Extra Arms at 2 mana is actually bad for the game. Because, like, before, your only option really was turn 1 Northshire Cleric, turn 2 Extra Arms. And your opponent would go, ha! And if they couldn't deal with that, you know, they might have a problem. But now that we've got all these other really good early game minions to go with Extra Arms, there's too much early game. And other classes are just like, I'm out. You win. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if Priest wins the early game right now, then Priest just wins. And that's weird.
Yeah, that is weird for Priest class itself.
So since Priest got better cards, now Extra Arms is too good. Now, when this buff happened, Priest was bottom of the barrel, the worst class. Not close.
Yes.
Was it close? I don't think so. No, I think priest was like, there are 8 classes and then there's priest.
Mm-hmm.
But priest got some buffs with the Saviors of Uldum, so you got to back it off.
Yeah.
But
And
because oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, it's just, again, it goes back to, it's just out of character for it to have something quite like this. I mean, not even Paladin or Druid get stuff at this rate here.
Yeah.
I know when we were talking about it last time, we compared it to Blessing of Kings, except you can split it up or start it early or,
Yeah. It's completely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's... And at the time, priest needed that, like I said, but because all of the other cards that it has right now are way better, it'll be fine for this nerf.
Yeah, they don't need the help from extra arms anymore.
And of course, all of the priest players are gonna complain, but that's what Hearthstone players do, just like Magic players. It's what nerds do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, But I think this is probably fine. I think if Paladin was in a better place, they would have backed off the Crystology buff too. Because Crystology was the one that we called a mistake in the Rise of the Mechs.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Paladin isn't a great class right now, so
I haven't seen
OP.
it do anything broken. I've just seen it, draw people cards.
Yeah. For 1 mana, draw 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense. But
I think we were afraid there was going to be some stupid combo or synergy, whatever, going on with it. But I don't think anything quite like that has popped up.
not broken, no. It's just really good. I think the other card that we called a potential mistake was Thunderhead. Because Thunderhead was already really good. And then they gave it an extra point of toughness. But
now Shamans just play Quest.
yeah, it turns out that didn't matter as much as we were afraid of. So I think those are the 2 things that we just laughed at. We were like, that's dumb. Why'd they do that? But these 2 we did, the extra arms and the Pocket Galaxy, we did at least acknowledge that these were really good.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of us for realizing that. It's almost like we've been playing card games for decades.
Yeah, almost.
So that's it with the standard nerfs. There is a wild nerf, which is exceedingly rare. Whoa. Excuse me. And it's Barnes. You remember Barnes?
Yeah.
So Barnes is jumping up from 4 mana to 5 because Big Priest is totally still a thing. And some stats that I have seen thrown around, take it with a grain of salt whether these are real or not, is that a Barnes on turn 4, like on curve in those decks, increases your win rate dramatically compared to not having Barnes on turn 4.
Mm-hmm.
And as just a one-of card, it's fine to have that in your deck, because it does screw up your like Shadow Essence. If you don't draw him, sometimes you get a 5/5 Barnes, and you're like, yay. And he does screw up your Resurrection pool.
Yes.
Because he's a stupid 3/4. But the upside you get from casting him that early is high enough to where he's just worth putting in. Now, I played Big Priest when it was in Standard. And on the rare occasion that I jump into Wild, I build a Big Priest deck. So, like, and even I'm like, yeah. Because it's not necessarily about being oppressive in a given format or about having too high a win percentage. It's also about how it feels. And a turn 4 Barnes that gets some sort of amazing minion from your deck in Wild feels awful. It just feels awful. Because without that, you might have had a chance to win, and now look what happened, son of a bitch. So, also, I really do believe that the difference in win percentage from playing Barnes on 4 to not playing Barnes at all was wide enough to where that's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So turn 5 is probably, I mean, it's still powerful, and you can still like Shadow Essence the next turn and keep things going. So it's probably still going to be a deck. It's not like this is going to kill the Big Priest in Wild. And in fact, I've also heard that some of the Big Priest decks have cut Barnes entirely because of those downsides I mentioned before, like the Shadow Essence and the res pool and whatnot.
Right. Okay. Just to
So,
make it more predictable, less swingy.
yeah, you're shaving off like power spikes for consistency
Mm-hmm.
points in that case. And I can see that. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is probably fine. I don't think Big Priest is a thing of the past. Big Priest with Barnes might be. You never know. Turn 5, that might just not be good enough anymore. But I think it's probably fine. I think it's probably fine. Again, take all of this with a grain of salt. Neither of us play Wild.
No. Yeah. No.
Which is weird considering we've been playing since Naxxramas, and we have a bunch of these cards that we could totally play Wild, but I just don't enjoy Wild. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised I've never really felt drawn to it either, but I just, for whatever reason, I haven't.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the Nerf report. This should make Mage a little worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pocket Galaxy, you were just stealing wins. Let's be real. This will hopefully shave some percentage points off of Warrior. And it'll make Priest slightly less oppressive in the very early game. To give other, board-based decks a hope in hell. And yeah. I think this is good. I think that like other aggressive and tempo based decks will get a small boost from this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can deal enough early damage, then you can get around a single Conjurus Calling probably, depending on the deck. And doing a double now takes, a full turn at 8. So it takes a full turn on 8 with a big thing already in play that didn't get dealt with. So I think this will help some of the more aggressive decks and tempo-based decks and board-based decks. But it's not going to kill any of these other... Like, Highlander Mage isn't huge because of Luna's Pocket Galaxy. But Highlander Mage is huge. Okay, the Pocket Galaxy helps, but...
Right, but
like,
it's not...
It's not
it doesn't make the deck.
Yeah, it's not the sole contributor to the popularity and power of the deck, so... It's probably fine. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think this is where it needed to happen. Because really the most aggravating experiences I've had are against a priest running me over out of nowhere, are against, Dr. Boom playing the 5th Omega Devastator, are, against turn 7 ridiculous stuff after turn 5 Pocket Galaxy. So.
Yeah. I kind of wish that they could do something about just the mechs. like Omega Assembly and the delivery drone hero power getting more of the Omega Devastators, which deal 10 to a thing, and then rush in and deal 4 to another thing, that's just so obnoxious and soul crushing.
Yeah.
But what you gonna do, right? Like, you could remove the mech tag from Omega Devastator, but
You'd have to reconcept it, but I guess you could.
I guess, but that seems bad. Like, it seems dumb, you know?
It's still a good card, 4 mana, kill that, get a creature.
True.
Minion.
I don't know. I might hate it especially more because I'm more particularly drawn to playing like slower control-y decks.
Mm-hmm.
So Omega Devastator just wrecks me, especially. Like, you can Bran and hit him in the face for 8, and then with one card they can kill Crush and Bran, and it's like, that's not right. For 4 mana, you shouldn't be able to kill Bran and King Crush. But oh well. What you gonna do? I've seen people say you could remove the delivery drone hero power.
At that point, it's like, why play it? For me,
yeah,
at least.
like that's what gives the Dr. Boom hero the long game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the Kibler idea of removing Blast Shield, just so that they have 0 more defensive capability from hero power. But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think removing the Blast Shield and the Battlecry armor would be appropriate, but
They could knock it back down to 5 armor, like every other hero in the game.
yeah, I suppose.
I mean, they only made it 7 because Dr. Boom was a 7 mana 7/7, so now his hero power is a 7 mana 7 armor.
That's right.
And they've already killed the hero power, so they could kill the 7 armor too. But 2 armor, I don't think makes really any difference.
No.
So meh. Oh well. But I think we have covered the rest of the card changes pretty well. So let us know what you think down in the comments, and we will be back next time they nerf and or buff something. I really hope, real quick, that because they had to walk back 2 of the buffs, that they don't never do that again. Like, I really like the idea of getting a bunch of buffs.
I agree. I hope it doesn't make them shy about doing that in the future.
Yeah, I really hope not, because that was amazing, and it made like good cards better, and it made bad cards okay. And most of them didn't really matter, looking back.
Yeah.
So
I don't even remember what both cards were for each class.
exactly. What was the other mage one? Oh, the get 2 minions of that cost 2 that's affected by spell.
Oh, they changed it from 4 to 2?
4 to 3.
4 to 3? Okay. Yeah, that's right.
But see, yeah, they didn't break the game until much later. I think it's fine. They should. Hopefully, they'll do it again. But okay, that was all we wanted to say. So with that, this has been the TMP Nerf Report. Thank you very much, Mike, as always.
Thank you for inviting me.
And hopefully, the meta will be even more enjoyable than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you all so very much for watching, and go play some Hearthstone.